Welcome back. I am Mrs. Cavazos, the HB Zachary Orchestra, doing video number 2 on our violin. So you have your instrument, you've taken it out, you know how to hold it correctly in your hands by the neck and the bottom. This is what I like to call guitar position. You're kind of holding it somewhat like a guitar, or how you would hold a ukulele. So, parts of the instrument. So, when I talk about something like the pegs, you won't be wondering, what in the world is a peg? Why does she keep telling us about the pegs? So, parts of an instrument, super easy to do. This is the neck of the instrument. I liken this to a person. So like this would be the head, the neck, the shoulders, the bottom, that kind of thing, the front, the back. So this is the neck of the person, of the instrument. This is what you're going to hold. If you notice, the back part isn't as varnished or doesn't have the same varnish as the body of the instrument because they know you're going to be touching this a lot and the oils from your hands are going to get on this part. So they do something a little bit different to the back of the neck. This part of the instrument is called a scroll. If you imagine it, it looks kind of like those old school Egyptian papyrus scrolls, or those scrolls that you think medieval times that they unroll and say, "Hear ye, hear ye." So it looks like a scroll. It's called a scroll. These right here are called pegs. We will talk about these in detail in further videos. So these are called pegs. You have 4 of them here. You're going to have your, if you're holding the instrument towards you, pretend this is towards you, you're going to see your E string peg, your A string peg, your D string peg, and your G. We'll go over this later on. So these are pegs. You should have 4 working pegs. This box where the pegs are is called the peg box. This little tiny strip of ebony that you see here is called a nut, like nuts and bolts. Nuts and bolts. This is the nut. In the end here, this long black piece of wood is called your fingerboard, because this is the board where you put your fingers on. A lot of these are pretty self-explanatory, which makes it very easy. This piece of wood right here looks kind of like a itty little tiny mini bridge. It's called a bridge. Again, super easy names, super easy, very easy to memorize. The bridge. This is not glued down. So if for some reason it falls over on your instrument and you're freaking out because you think your violin broke, it didn't break. Your bridge just fell over. If it falls over, that doesn't mean that your bridge broke necessarily. That just means it fell over like a bridge and needs to come back up. If your bridge falls or pops out, that's okay. We can fix that. If it pops out or falls over and then it snaps in half, that's a different story. You can't just glue it back together and expect it to sound the same. You'll actually have to get a new bridge. So be very, very careful with these. That's why we don't pick it up by the face of the instrument, but where the strings are right here, because it could damage this. So this is the bridge, piece of wood that looks like a bridge. Right here, the bottom little triangle thing is called a tailpiece. It is a piece at the bottom, so it's a tailpiece. This right here is a chin rest. You are going to need a chin rest to play your instrument comfortably. Your chin rest could look a little bit different. There are all sorts of different chin rests for all sorts of different fits for the side of your face and for different fits of the instrument. Some will be here, some will cover the entire bottom like mine does, some might even shift a little bit over this way. It just depends, whatever is most comfortable for you. But you do need to have a chin rest. At the bottom, you'll see a thing that looks like a little button at the end of the instrument. This is called an end button. Button at the end button. Again, some of these are just super easy to memorize. Y'all can totally do this. This right here, the cord, it's just a plastic thing. This is what's actually holding everything together. Nothing on your instrument is glued down except for the fingerboard. Again, nothing on your instrument is glued down except for your fingerboard. So if one day your bridge pops out and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna have my adult glue it back on, don't do that. It does not need to be glued on. It's not supposed to have glue on it. The only thing that has glue on it is the fingerboard right here. This is a C bout, looks like a letter C. The upper bouts, which I will call the shoulder of the instrument. The lower bouts, which I will call the bottom of the instrument. The face of the instrument is the front. The back of the instrument is called the back. Inside, you might be able to see it right here. Inside, you see like an itty bitty little tiny stick. It goes from the top of the instrument all the way down to the bottom of the instrument. That is supposed to be there. You have a tiny little stick on the instrument. That is called your sound post. Science lesson. It will take the vibrations from the top of the wooden part of the violin, from the bridge, through the sound post to the back. That itty bitty little sound post stick is also the only thing that is keeping your instrument from crashing down on itself. So, when you pick up your instrument, if you hear rattling around, check inside to see if that sound post has fallen down. This itty bitty little stick carries a huge, huge, huge important part in how your instrument sounds and how it plays and for the health of your instrument. If it's fallen down, do not tune it, do not play on it. You're gonna have to take it to a shop so it could get popped right back up, because it's the only thing holding your strings and your bridge from collapsing, smushing into the wood. So extremely important. These itty bitty little things right here that you can turn are called the fine tuners. You will learn how to tune your instrument using these. They tune finely, small increments, so it's called a fine tuner. So to review everything on our instruments, we have the scroll, 4 pegs, the peg box, the nut, the fingerboard, the neck, the upper bouts, the bridge, the tailpiece, the end button, the chin rest, the C bout, the lower bout, the face, the back, and the sound post right inside. Now you know all the parts of the instrument. As we go on and explore things later, you'll know exactly what it is that I'm talking about and where it is that I'm talking about. Oh, and the fine tuners. I didn't mention those. Study these. Quiz yourself over them. There's some fun activities that you could do in Schoology that go over all the different parts. Get familiar with it. Let me know what you think. And I will be seeing you next video. Like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, let me know. Just put them down below and I'll be able to answer those for you. I'll see you next time.